at the start of Act 5, the beginning of today's reading, we get one of the anchor points of the play. That is a clear opinion that is a solid and fixed place, or perhaps we could say a place to stand on, to consider the other opinions, other perspectives that are put into the play by the poet. Theseus says he doesn't believe in fairies, and he casts his doubt on the power of love as well. And that's a clear opinion. It might be the truth for life. It doesn't seem to be the truth for the play. Of course, it contradicts the reality presented to us, where the fairies, we're allowed to see what are normally invisible to us because we're mortal human beings. We don't get to see the realm of the fairies. But that permits us, of course, to think that they don't exist. They exist in the play. But the play contains Theseus, the character who doesn't believe in them. And then that could be the right attitude for life. So what does he say? It's here, page 71, the beginning of Act 5, Scene 1, the first few lines. The young lovers have been talking about their experiences through the night. They think they must have encountered the fairies because of the strange trickery that went on during the night. Hippolyta says, "'Tis strange, my Theseus, that these lovers speak of." Theseus says, "More strange than true." Hippolyta opens the conversation about the odd events, and Theseus says, "Can't be true, these odd tales, these extreme events that they think they've been through." So just reading on Theseus's first speech, "I never may believe these antic fables, nor these fairy tales. Lovers and madmen have such seething brains, such shaping fantasies, that apprehend more than cool reason ever comprehends." So this is his argument throughout the speech, that that insanity is the basic model for all of these thoughts, and lovers are like those who are crazy, insane. Their brains are active. They're seething, and so they're showing illusions or fantasies that cool reason doesn't see. So Theseus is setting himself out as a man of cool reason rather than the feverish fantasies. The lunatic, the lover, and the poet are of imagination all compact, and they're all pressed together, all the same. And so this is the full thesis. Lovers and poets are full of imagination, and the value of their imagination is just what it is for the insane people, lunatics or madmen. All three of those things are the same. One sees more devils than vast hell can hold, that is the madman. The lover, all is frantic, sees Helen's beauty in a brow of Egypt. The poet's eye, in a fine frenzy rolling, doth glance from heaven to earth, from earth to heaven, and as imagination bodies forth the forms of things unknown, the poet's pen turns them into shapes, and gives to airy nothing and local habitation and a name. So poets are able to make very slight things, notions, thoughts, suggestions, real by describing them in concrete words. So that gives them a local habitation, a place to be, and a name, right? Something to call them. That's all of those actions make things that we would and probably should dismiss as unreal. It makes them real. So that's what poets do. And poets see beauty where there are just ordinary things. Or lovers, rather, see beauty where there are just ordinary things. Helen, who was legendary for being beautiful, they see that beauty in somebody who is just nothing special. And they're all the same as the madman who sees spirits, devils, things that aren't there. Such tricks have strong imagination, that if it would but apprehend some joy, it comprehends some bringer of that joy. And so all of these things, insanity, poetry, and love, they're all drawing on the mind's power to imagine and to make imaginary things real. So the imagination is strong enough to make this leap from what it wants, wants some good things, some joy. And it wants it so much that it imagines seeing, and it thinks there's a real bringer of that joy. Or in the night imagines some fear, how easy is a bush supposed a bear. It works the other way around too, right? If there's something you don't want, or something you're worried about, then imagination can make something completely ordinary, a small plant, into the object of your fear, a bear that might kill you and eat you. So here it is. If you should desire to take it, a rather well articulated explanation of why people get so mixed up over love, why it's so powerful, that can help us to explain why it seems to be such a misdirection, such a wrong turn for so many people in life. It's nothing, and it's a failure to hold on to the best guide in life, which would be cool reason. And then the imagination has a power to see what's not there. And so, and then your love may be seeing what's not there and also a projection of your hopes. You hope hard enough for something, then you see someone as the fulfillment of that hope. That's the way minds work, and that's the way our reason is overcome. And so this is there for you as a guide to life. If this is the attitude that pleases you about love, it's here spelled out at the beginning of Act 5. Now the rest of Act 5 has to do with a play, or the great bulk of Act 5, the middle of it has to do with the presentation of the play, the play that Bottom and Quince and Snug the Joiner and all of those were practicing in the earlier acts. They then perform here in the fifth act. So at the end of this love story, we get the performance of a play which fills the time between the actual marriage ceremony, the wedding ceremony, and the real commencement of the marriages and the future for each of these couples. And the play is a love story of the most extreme kind, not a comedy as the one we've just watched, but a tragic love story. It has roughly the same plot as the tragic parts of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, as Quince tells us. When he first shows up, it's the story of Pyramus, who kills himself most gallant for love, and Thisbe, the woman he loves, who kills herself also. So in one way, the most extreme and exalted story of love. Two people who love each other so much that they cannot, one can't face life without the other. So when one seems to be killed, Thisbe seems to be eaten by a lion, Pyramus kills himself, and then Thisbe is not dead, but discovers that Pyramus is dead and kills herself too. So this is one way you would give the highest form of the culmination of love. The telling of the story here is utterly ridiculous. it is so badly performed that it causes laughter rather than tears. But we should keep in mind that its subject is a sort of height of love. How would you fulfill the greatest earthly love? Well, the best way, of course, would be for the lovers to get married and have children. But this entails that their love is transformed, from the utter satisfaction of the couple in each other to their preoccupation with their children and life. The great love then gets spread out, which is, of course, the best thing that we can hope for, but coincides with it being diluted somewhat. And Pyramus and Thisbe, by killing themselves, are in some way preserved in the greatest moment of their love. And of course the play is aware that this can seem beautiful, but also can seem utterly ridiculous. And that is the way it's played here. But we should be true to the themes of the play that we've been following all along. And the performance of a play inside a play gives us some questions about how to regard a play. Theseus has already started us on this theme with his opening speech, which lumps both the lover and the poet, so both the human being falling in love and somebody who would write a play about love, both of them with the madman, so they're all species of insanity, according to that first speech of Theseus. And that's what we could think. A play is unimportant because it's a mere shadow, as Theseus would say. It's not real. The things don't actually happen. They just look like they're happening. They're performed and they're mimicked. But even people powerfully affected by the drama, who enjoy it and are moved by it emotionally, are not fooled into thinking that it's a real thing and never forget that it's in a play. So we could take that view, that it's a play is just nonsense, it's nothing. It would be a form of insanity to take it seriously in any way. This doesn't seem to be Theseus's view when it comes to the play itself. He's very hard on poetry and lovers in the first speech, but he chooses to hear this play, even having been warned that it's terribly executed, that it's an awful low quality. But he says here on page 74, Act 5, Scene 1, line 81, Theseus says, "I will hear that play." He's deciding that this is going to be the wedding entertainment. He's chosen this over other things he could have seen. "For never anything can be amiss when simpleness and duty tender it. Go bring them in." So nothing can be bad when it's done out of duty by simple people. Things that are highly sophisticated or advanced and educated, we might wonder about them. They could go wrong in many ways. Things that are from complicated or even talented people could go wrong. But when very simple people, simply out of love for the Duke, offer their work in all earnestness, sincerely and straightforwardly offer to show him the best they've got, then he says that cannot be bad. So he's prepared to like and enjoy this play and forgive it its faults.